Hi everybody, my name is Stacia and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be tier ranking every book that I read in 2023. So I have read 148 books so far this year. I still have a couple days and I'm hoping to hit 150 before the end of the year, but I need to film this video so I can actually get it out to y'all. So we're going to be tier ranking 148 books today. So here is my tier ranker. I'm going to go over the tiers first. So the first one is talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, and it could go on and on because Lady Gaga in this quote went on and on, but that's what this quote is. This is going to be for my favorites of the faves, and this is like my absolute top tier. And then we're going to go down to She Ate. So this book, 8, like I still really like it and I would definitely recommend it. This is going to be like 4, 4.5s, books like that. And then I would recommend is going to be more of like a 3 to 4 star where I would still recommend the book. I think that people could still really enjoy it. Then I have just meh, and these were for books that were just meh. Like I just thought they were okay, maybe more like 2.5, 3 star books. Then not a fan. These were books that I just was not a fan of, more like 2 stars. Like I did not like them and they were just not good to me. And then loathe entirely is for books that I loathe entirely. There's only one book I can think of that's gonna go into this tier, but yeah, these are for books that I loathed entirely, and I zoomed it out just a little bit so we could see more of the books. So the first one that is coming up is It Came From the Closet, and this one I'm going to put in talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular. I don't really put nonfiction books in my favorites of the year, but if I did, these ones would all be in it. It Came From the Closet, Know My Name by Chanel Miller, and I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I love all 3 of these. These are the only 3 nonfiction that I've read so far this year. Next up I have Dying for Christmas, which I'm going to put in not a fan. This one was just not for me. I thought the first half was okay and then the second half kind of slowed down a lot and it just wasn't my favorite. Then Practice Makes Perfect, I'm going to also put in not a fan. I just did not enjoy this one at all. I don't think that it was a good romance at all. Like I just didn't like it. Then The Survival of Molly Southboard, I'm going to put in just meh. This is a sequel to... Then for The Survival of Molly Southbourne, I'm going to put this one in not a fan as well. This one is a sequel to the first book, and that one I would recommend. But this one, but this one I just was not a big fan of. I didn't like the direction that it went in. Audition I would put in just meh. I enjoyed parts of it. I didn't enjoy other parts of it and it was just okay. Lone Woman I would put in not a fan. This one I just don't think was for me because it was more of like a western. Then A Twisted Love Story, again gonna go in not a fan. I didn't really enjoy this one because it wasn't as toxic as I wanted it to be. The next up is Broken Dolls by McKay Watson. This one is also going to go in not a fan. We're getting a lot of the not a fan ones out the way. But I just did not enjoy this one because of some like misogyny that I felt like was written into the story that wasn't meant to be written into the story, and it just felt kind of icky to me. Then I have The Trap, which I also am going to put in not a fan. This one was just really, really boring to me. Then Manhunt, I would put in just meh. This one was okay to me. I would still recommend it to an extent. I think that you can enjoy it, but I just didn't really like the perspective changes, the pacing of it, and I don't really like apocalyptic books. Then The Deep by Nick Cutter is going to go into loathe entirely. I hated this book. It was terrible to me and I just absolutely loathe it. The next up is The Spite House by Johnny Compton. And this one I'm going to put in just meh. I think I gave this one 2 stars, but I could see myself recommending it in certain circumstances. I just don't really like haunted houses at all. And this one was a very traditional haunted house, but I did like one of the twists in it a lot. Then The Big Score by Elle Kennedy. I'm going to put this one in just meh. Normally I would put this one in not a fan, but I love the backstory behind this one where I was looking for black cocky romances, which I did find one that I really enjoy later down on this list, and I was talking about it on Sprints with Haley and Aspen, and then I found this one when I was researching, and so then we all like dropped what we were currently reading and read it together. So I have really good memories attached to this one, but I wouldn't recommend it. Then Road of Bones, I'm gonna put this one in not a fan as well. I did not like this one. It takes a lot for me to loathe the book, so this probably will be the only book that's put in here. But not a fan are books that I also really did not enjoy. But Road of Bones was just extremely boring to me, and it did not live up to like the synopsis that I wish it really did live up to. The next up I have Coveted by Alexandria House, and this was also going to go into not a fan. Maybe I disliked more books this year than I anticipated. This is why I like tier rankers, because I feel like my ratings are not always like as accurate as my like opinions and tier rankers are. I just was not a big fan of the direction that the series went into. Then next up I have One Bloody Thing After Another, and for this one was for me, I would recommend it. It just wasn't my personal favorite. I think I gave this one 3 stars. It was just kind of messy to me and all over the place in a way that I didn't enjoy. Then Krampus I would put in just meh. I could see myself recommending this one. But at the same time I feel like it was kind of also meh, and it's really long, so I wouldn't always recommend it most of the time. Then I have One Day in December, and for this one I'm gonna put in just meh as well. It was just okay to me. It was like kind of just like random white people doing random white people things, and it just was not my favorite. Then next up is All I Want by Alexandria House again, and this one I'm gonna put in just meh. I enjoyed a lot of aspects of this. I really like second chance romances, which is what this one is, but at the same time it had some mental health representation in it that I did not enjoy. Then Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey, I'm gonna put this one in just meh as well. I have no clue why we have so much down here and not that much up here. It was put into a random order by the tier maker. But Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey, I just didn't think it was as Christmassy as I wanted, and it was just okay. I didn't really feel the connection between the two characters. Then I have Mame, and this one I'm gonna put in I would recommend. I think that this one is a good literary fiction. It's not doing anything too different, but I still really enjoyed it. Then Pen Pal by Dathan Arkovich, I'm gonna put in not a fan. I think normally it would be in just meh, but because it was so hyped up for me, I'm just not a fan of it because it was boring, guys. It was really boring. Layla by Colleen Hoover, I'd put this one in I would recommend. I enjoyed this one a lot. It was not like a fave of all time. It's not as even close to Verity, but I think that this one is like a good little ghosty time. Then I have Out There Screaming, and this one I'm gonna put in just meh. It was really disappointing for me because it wasn't horror, guys. It wasn't horror. Then Transmuted, I'm gonna put this one in just meh as well. This one I think is kind of good, and I would recommend it in certain circumstances. If you're looking for a book by a trans writer that's own voices, I would definitely recommend it, but I did not enjoy the direction that the second half of this book took. I really enjoyed like the first half, and the second half was just not for me. Then The Nanny I would recommend. I really enjoyed this one. It was a fun time, but it wasn't super memorable. She Started It, I'm gonna put this one in just meh. This one was an okay thriller. It wasn't anything spectacular, but I did enjoy some of the twists in it. Dark Harvest, I'm going to put in just meh as well. It was okay, and I think that even though I have this tier I would recommend, some of these books in just meh I would also still recommend in certain circumstances, like Manhunt, The Spy House, Dark Harvest. I would still recommend them in certain circumstances. They're just not the best to me, but Dark Harvest is just an okay little autumn fall spooky time. Salt Slow by Julia Armfield, I'm gonna put this one in just meh as well. I honestly don't remember that one that much. I was a little disappointed by it because I loved the other book by Julia Armfield that I read this year, but it was just okay to me. Then I have A House at the Bottom of the Lake by Josh Mallerman. This one was just meh as well. Again, I don't know why we have so many in these bottom tiers, but this one was kind of strange because I was like, why are we reading about teenagers having sex so much? But I enjoyed some of the other things that were in it. Free to Love, I'm gonna put in just meh as well. This one was okay. It was a good little Juneteenth thing. Actually, I'm gonna put this one in I would recommend. It's a little Juneteenth romance novella. It was pretty good. Flowers from the Sea, I would put this one in I would recommend. I think that this one was really good. It's a ocean horror, and I enjoyed it a lot. Then next up is The Groom by John Athan. Again, this one's gonna go in I would recommend. It's not my favorite book of all time, not even close, but I think that it was pretty good and I enjoyed it. It's about a groomer. Then Everything the Darkness Eats, I'm gonna put this one in just meh. I want to put it in not a fan because I was really disappointed for it, but it was just meh overall. I think that it did some things okay, but other things it didn't do great. Then It's Me, Charlie. I'm gonna put this one in I would recommend. I enjoyed this one a lot. It was a little novella about, it was just a little novella that has to do with like influencers and like horror and how fans can get a little crazy, and I enjoyed that a lot. Exquisite Course, I'm gonna put in just meh. I think this one was okay. There were a lot of things about it that I liked, but a lot of things about it that I thought were really boring. So yeah. Then Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey. Again, it's not the year of Tessa Bailey for me because I'm gonna put this one in just meh as well. I think that this one was just meh. Like, I think maybe I'm starting to grow out of just like boring white people romances, because that's what this was. Then next up, I think, is Moonstruck, and I'm gonna put this one in I would recommend. It was really cute and I enjoyed it a lot. It has a lot of romance in it. It was good. Next up is episode 13 by Craig DeLuey. I'm gonna put this one in just meh. I was disappointed in this one as well because I really enjoyed Stuff for the Children by this author, but this one was just okay for me and I wish that I enjoyed it more. Then How to Sell a Haunted House, I'm gonna put this one in She Ate. I really liked this one a lot and I think it was pretty good, and it's just like a little haunted house story. It's one of the only ones that I like because it's more haunted puppet than it is haunted house, and it was just kind of silly and campy how Grady Hendrix does, so it kind of worked for me. Malice House, I'm gonna put this one in I would recommend. This one was pretty good, not super memorable for me, but I remember really enjoying it. Then Burn Up, Rise Down, I'm gonna put this one in I would recommend as well. I think if you're looking for a YA that's kind of like Stranger Things, that one's pretty good. Fake It Till You Bake It, I'm gonna put in just meh. Again, it was just kind of like a meh romance, which is really disappointing to me because it is a black romance, and generally black romances I really enjoy, but this one was just okay. Charming as a Verb, I would recommend. It just is not a romance, which is what I was expecting, so it was just, I would recommend. That's all that I would do. Higher Love by Alexandria House, again, I'm gonna put in just meh. I literally don't remember a single thing about this at all besides it's romance and it's by Alexandria. I don't remember a single other thing. I don't remember a single thing about this besides it's by Alexandria House. Alexandria House writes a lot of little short things, and I enjoy some of them. I don't enjoy other ones, but this year it was not a great year for me in Alexandria House. Wayward is next, and I'm gonna put this one in She Ate. I loved Wayward so much. It was really, really good, and I really enjoyed it. I haven't really talked about it on my channel at all, but I really enjoyed that one a lot. Legend and Latte is also going to go into She Ate. I really enjoyed this one too. It was a fun little fantasy, and I really think I enjoy cozy fantasy a lot, so I'm looking to get into that more next year. Then Love Light Farms, I'm going to put this one in I would recommend. I don't think She Ate, but I would recommend her for sure. I give this one 4 stars. It's a cute little Christmas tree, friends to lovers romance, but it's not going to like stick with me forever. Then The Last Mrs. Parrish, I would put this one in I would recommend. I think that this one is pretty good, but it's not like my favorite. I think that there's a lot of like conversations it could have had around class that it just didn't. Mangoes and Mistletoe, I'm gonna put this one actually in She Ate. I think that of all of the Christmas romances that I've read this year, that is like one of my favorites, and I would definitely recommend it, especially because it's by a author of color and it is queer. Next up is Praise by Sarah Kate, and this one I'm gonna put in She Ate as well. I really, really enjoyed this one a lot. Okay, I don't care what anybody else has to say. I listened to this one at the gym and it was just really good. Okay, I liked it. None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. I'm gonna put this one in I would recommend it. I think that it was pretty good, and while it wasn't like a fave of mine, I don't think Lisa Jewell will ever write a fave of mine. I really enjoyed it a lot, and I enjoyed the podcast elements and some of the twists at the end. Sour Candy by Keelan Patrick Burke, I'm gonna put in I would recommend as well. This one was pretty good, and I really enjoyed this one a lot. I think it was really fun, and if you're looking for like a creepy kid story, I would recommend this one. Next up is Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, and this one's gonna go in She Ate because She Ate. Okay, I love Yellowface. Honestly, I really want, like, low-key want to put it up here because I gave it 4 stars, but the more that I sit on it, the more that I think about it and the more that I love it. But for now, I'm gonna put it in She Ate, and at the end we'll like look at it and see if we need to adjust anything. Then I reread You've Lost a Lot of Blood, and for this one I'm gonna put this one in She Ate because I wasn't the biggest fan of this one when I originally read it, but now that I reread it, I appreciate it a lot more what it's done. Dark Corners, I would put in I would recommend. This one was fun, but it wasn't an absolute fave for me. I enjoyed the first one much more, and I would put that one in She Ate, but the second one was I would recommend it. Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey, I think I'm gonna put this one in She Ate. This is actually like my I don't know why it's doing that, guys. I don't know, but this one is like my favorite traditional haunted house story that I've ever read, so She Ate. Then Sweet Hand, I'm gonna put this one in I would recommend. I remember really enjoying this one, but I barely remember it, so yeah, maybe she needs like a reread or something. The Last Word by Taylor Adams, I'm gonna put this one actually in She Ate. I think this one was really fun. It was really camp, and I enjoy like the discussions that we had around this book, so yeah, She Ate. Starland by River Solomon, I'm going to put this one in I would recommend. I really enjoyed this one. I think it was a pretty good read and I would definitely recommend it. Then 100% Match, I'm going to put this one in She Ate. I think it was really, really good and I enjoyed it a lot. It was very gross and disgusting. So yeah, that was pretty pretty nice. Shiver by Junji Ito, I'm going to put this one in She Ate as well. I really enjoyed that one a lot. I thought it was really fun and I enjoyed Junji Ito's work so much. There Is No Devil by Sophie Lark, I'm gonna put this one in I would recommend, because the first one to me is like top tier and I enjoyed this one a lot, but it just wasn't the same caliber for me. But it kind of verges on She Ate. I think I'm actually going to put it in She Ate because she did eat. I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed most of the books in this tier, so I'm going to put it in She Ate. Go Down Hard, I'm also going to put in She Ate. I really enjoyed this one a lot. It's another serial killer romance, just like There Is No Devil, between two serial killers this time though. Next up is Finna, and I'm going to put this one in I would recommend. It was really fun and I enjoyed it a lot. It just wasn't super memorable for me. Then Lore Olympus, I don't remember what volume this is, maybe volume 3, and all of them eat to me. I love Lore Olympus so much. I don't enjoy the writing style a ton, but I remember just like really enjoying that one. And yeah, and then next up we have A Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, and I'm going to put that one in She Ate too. I haven't really talked about that one on my channel either, but I really, really enjoyed that one a lot, and I think it was super like cozy and fun. Then I have Naked in Death by J.D. Robb. I'm going to put this one in I would recommend. I really enjoyed that one a lot, and I think it was really fun and just like fresh. Even though it's like an older story, I think it was very fresh. The Writing Retreat, I'm going to put this one in I would recommend as well. It wasn't an absolute fave for me, but I really enjoyed it a lot and I thought it was really fun and I would definitely recommend it. Mayfly, I'm going to put this one in She Ate. I think it could be like in the top tier for me, but I think she needs a reread for that to happen. She's definitely on my list to reread coming up soon. Then The Butcher, and I have Creep by Jennifer Hillier. I'm going to put The Butcher and I would recommend, and Creep I'm going to put in just meh. The Butcher I would definitely recommend. I think it was good. Creep was just okay for me. Honestly, I would still recommend it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as The Butcher. So I'm going to put it in just meh. But I wish like a lot of stuff on this one happened off page, and I wish it happened on page to make it just better. Then I have Take It Back by Kia Abdullah, and this one I'm going to put in She Ate for sure. This is a really, really good thriller that I definitely really enjoyed if you can handle the triggers. Sky Falling, I'm going to put this one in... I think I'm actually going to put this one in She Ate. She definitely did eat. This is literary fiction and it was a little bit out of my comfort zone, but my mom really enjoyed it, so I tried it out and I really liked it. Spy Family I'm going to put in I would recommend. It was kind of just meh for me, but I think it's still a very fun time. The Perfect Ruin is very similar to The Last Mrs. Parrish, but I'm going to put this one in She Ate because she did eat. She was really, really good and she's by a black author, so what else could you want? Secrets and Truths by Whitney Hill. I'm going to put this one in... where do I think she fits? I'm going to put this one in She Ate because I think that it did really eat. It's a really good indie published urban fantasy romance and it's pretty good. The only one left, I'm going to put this one in She Ate too because I don't care what nobody else has to say. She ate to me, okay? She definitely ate, and it's like top 3 Riley Sager books for me, I think. Paper Girls Volume 2, I'm going to put this one in I would recommend. I would recommend the series. Is just not my favorite graphic novel series to exist. Camp Slaughter by Sergio Gomez, I'm going to put this one in She Ate because she did eat. Like, this is a really, really good fun slasher, especially if you like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, kind of like Jason vibes as well. I would definitely recommend that one. Then Any Man by Amber Tamblyn is also going to go up there in She Ate. I really enjoyed this one a lot and I think she was very, very good. Where's all my 5 stars, guys? Like, where are they? They're like all concentrated at the bottom because the only books that I have in here are my nonfiction books. Ties That Tether, I'm going to put this one in I would recommend because I really enjoyed that one. It was a really fun time, but it was not super memorable for me. This Goosebumps book, I'm going to put this one in I would recommend. It was pretty good, but there were some parts of it that I wasn't the biggest fan of, but it's a Goosebumps book. How much can you ask from it? This is Where We Talk Things Out. I'm going to put this one in She Ate. We have to like get up there. Okay, look it. We're starting to like get some in the top rows, top 3 rows. This is the bottom rows. This is where we talk things out was pretty good. I enjoyed it a lot, and it was a really good like mother-daughter toxic relationship. Love Times Infinity, I'm gonna put this one in just meh. I don't really remember it. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, and it was young adult, but I don't really remember it. The Lover by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, I'm actually gonna put this one in She Ate. This was a really fun short little novella that I really enjoyed. If I could drag it up there. The Lover was a really like smutty horror fantasy novella. It was really good. Oh, not me accidentally moving go down hard. Okay, next up I have The Honeys by Ryan LaSala, and She Ate. I love this book so much. Sorry it's moving books around, but I love The Honeys so much. It was so good. Even though it's young adult, it was one of my favorite horrors from this year. Blood Sugar by Sasha Rothschild. I'm going to put this one in I would recommend. It was definitely a fun time, but again, it wasn't super memorable for me. I couldn't tell you that much detail about it. Christmas Presents by Lisa Unger. I would recommend this one as well. It wasn't super Christmassy, but it was a really fun time. Her Body and Other Parties, I'm going to put this one in just meh. I don't know why this one just didn't click for me. Maybe I just wasn't clicking with like these horror little anthologies this year because it just wasn't my fave. King of Battle and Blood, I'm going to put this one in just meh. I think I gave this one like 4 stars, and it was really fun to read, but it was just a lot of smut, just like smut and smut and smut, which is fine, but it just wasn't my fave. Candy Cane Kills, I'm going to put this one in I would recommend, or maybe I think She Ate. It was one of my favorite little horror, it was one of my favorite little Christmas novellas that I read, so it was definitely really fun. And then Stay Awake by Megan Golden. This one I'm going to put in She Ate as well. I really like this one a lot, and it's not my favorite Megan Golden, but I definitely enjoyed it. But I definitely enjoyed it more than Dark Corners. I enjoyed that one a lot. The Whispers by Ashley Audrain, I'm going to put this one in She Ate as well. It's not as good as The Push to me. The Push would be talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, but it was a good little thriller. Snowball is up next, and this is a little horror novella, and I'm going to put this one in I would recommend. It wasn't my favorite, but it's literally about an evil elf on the shelf, so like, who doesn't want to read that? In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune, I'm going to put this one in I would recommend. It wasn't my favorite TJ Klune. It's actually like my least favorite that I read by him, but it's still a really good one. Respread by Ian Reid. I forgot I read this one this year, but I'm going to put this one in talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular. If I did 23 books that were my favorite in 2023, this one would definitely be on the list, and so would Yellowface. Honestly, I really want to move Yellowface up because these two, even though they weren't in my top 20, they would be in my top 23/25 for sure. Then I have Disco Death Trap, and I'm going to put this one in She Ate. This is a really fun slasher that I really enjoyed. Nana by Brandon Massey, I'm going to put this one in She Ate too. This one I did not expect to love as much as I did, but I really enjoyed it, and it's super weird. Things We Do in the Dark by Jennifer Hillier is also going to go in She Ate. This one was a really good thriller from Jennifer Hillier, and it was my favorite book of hers that I read this year. Next up, I have Horror by Katrina Leno, and this one I would go in, I would recommend. I would definitely really enjoy this one, and it is YA, but I think it has a lot to do with grief, and it was really good. Then The Christmas Guest, I'm going to put this one in She Ate. It was another one of my favorite Christmas books that I read. Then I have Five Survive by Holly Jackson, and I'm going to put this one in just meh. It was okay for me. It wasn't a fave. I remember reading this one very distinctly, but it just wasn't my favorite. Make a Scene by Mimi Grace is going to go in She Ate. This one I gave 4.5 stars. I just recently read it, and I really liked it, but I didn't love it as much as What a Match, so it's not going to go in incredible show-stopping. Midnight is the Darkest Hour is going to go in incredible show-stopping, talented, brilliant, incredible, whatever. This one I really enjoyed a lot, and it wasn't originally a 5-star for me, but then I talked to Ashley Winstead with Haley at a live show on our Patreons, which my Patreon is linked down below if you want to check it out. And so ever since then, she told us an alternate ending, and to me that's very much canon, so I have to put it up there. Then Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers, I'm going to put this one in She Ate as well. I really love this one a lot. It was really good. Killing Stalking is actually going to go into talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping. I love that manhwa so much. It's so dark and fun and graphic. So I have Garlic and the Vampire and Garlic and the Witch up next. I'm going to put these two next to each other because they're in the same series. And these ones are going to go into talented, brilliant, incredible, show-stopping, whatever. I love that little series so much. It's like a middle grade graphic novel series, but it's just so good. Not So Perfect Strangers, this one is going to go into She Ate because she definitely ate for sure. I really like this one a lot. Then The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, I'm going to put this one in the top tier. I love this one so much. It was one of my favorite romances I read all year. Every Heart a Doorway is also going to go up there. This is an amazing fantasy. Again, like another cozy fantasy. Black Sheep is also going to go up there because this one reminded me of one of my favorite shows, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, so I loved it. Monstrilio is also going to go into there because that one is one of my favorite horrors of the year. Definitely my favorite debut. Autumn Crow is going to go into She Ate because she definitely did eat. I really enjoyed that one a lot. It's a fun little like anthology series about this town called Autumn Crow. Tenders of the Flesh is going to go into Talented, Brilliant, Incredible, Amazing, Show-Stopping, Spectacular because it's everything to me. Like, it's just so good. Goddess of Filth is also going to go up there because it's such a little good horror novella. The Last Housewife was a reread for me, and I'm going to put that one up there as well. It was so good, okay? It was phenomenal. It's such a good book, and I had to reread it. Milk-Fed is also going to go up there. I think if I did 23 books, this one would also be up there. Like, We Spread, Yellowface, and Milk-Fed would all be, like, the other 3 books. It was so good. Of course, All the Sinners Bleed is my favorite book of the year. She's going to go in the front. Grip by Kennedy Ryan, 8. She was so good. Black Girl Call Home. This was actually, I forgot about this one. This is another nonfiction that I read. I forget that this one's nonfiction, but it is a nonfiction about black girls and the issues that they go through, and it's so important. Blacktop Wasteland, 8. She definitely 8, but she's not as good as All the Sinners Bleed, in my opinion, or Razor Blade Tears, because Razor Blade Tears would also go in the top tier. Goal by Alexandria House is going to go into the very top tier. I love that one. It's my favorite hockey romance I've ever read. Cirque Berserk is also going to go up there. It's my favorite slasher that I've ever read. Heartstopper Volume 4, 8. She 8. A Hunger Like No Other, also she 8. Them by McKay Watson is going to go into the top tier. I love that book so much it made me vomit, which I love. No One Writes for Free has very similar themes to them, but is told in a very different way, which I also really enjoyed. So it's going to go top tier. The Girl in 6E, honestly, she's going to go top tier as well. If I was doing 25 books, it would be in there, okay? I love her. City of Bones, I reread this year, and honestly, She Ate. I had such a good time rereading that book. Woman Eating is going to go top tier, for sure. I love that book. It's such a good, like, literary horror. Then we have The Trees Grew Because I Bled There. I love this one so much. It has one of my favorite stories from Eric LaRocca in it. Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney is going to go in She Ate. I really enjoyed that one a lot. Uzumaki is going to go top tier. It's, like, my favorite manga that I've ever read. 5 stars. Slewfoot is also going to go up there. I love Slewfoot so much. It's such a good book. A good for her book. This one, Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke and Other Misfortunes, I reread. Well, technically I reread the first story, Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke, and I reread The Misfortunes for the first time. And it's going to go top tier, but it was a reread, so I didn't include it on my favorites. Chef's Kiss, 8. I really like that graphic novel series, or the first book. I only read the first book. I don't know if there's even more. The Perfect Marriage is going to go top tier. It was in my top 10 of the year. So is What a Match. I love that romance. It's like, definitely, I think, my favorite romance besides The 7-Year Slip. Goal, The 7-Year Slip, and What a Match are my favorite romances of the year. Saga Volume, I don't even know what volume it is. The most recent volume, 8, 9, 10, something like that. But that was going to go in Talented, Brilliant, Incredible, Amazing, Show-Stopping. Next up is Fumbled by Alexa Martin. And this one I would put in I would recommend. I really enjoyed this one a lot, but it was not as good to me as the first one. Rolling in the Deep, I would put this one in I would recommend as well because it was very similar to the first book in the series. This is actually a prequel to Into the Drowning Deep, which is one of my favorite books of all time. And it's very similar to that, so I definitely enjoyed it, but it's not, like, the best. Vanessa Jared's Got a Man is going to go in She Ate because this is another one of my favorite romances of the year, but it's just not as good to me as these other 3 ones. Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo was another reread, and this one I'm going to put in She Ate because she definitely did eat. And then Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. This one is going to go into the top tier. I like how we filled out the tiers for the most part, but let's, like, look. I'm really set on this top tier. This is my top, like, 33 books of the year. These are phenomenal to me. She Ate. I'm just going to look at this one really quickly. In Skyfalling, I think I'm going to move this one down to I would recommend. Candy Cane Kills, I think I'm also going to move down. Let's see what else. I think that's it. So She Ate, yeah, these are all books that I really, really love, and I would definitely, like, reread these books. I really enjoyed them. I would recommend her books that I wouldn't reread. They weren't my favorites, but I would still definitely recommend them, especially for, like, recommendations videos. just met are books that I would maybe recommend on occasion, but they were just okay to me. And then not a fan are books that I just did not really enjoy at all. And then loathe entirely is specifically for the deep. Look, I even matched the color to it. So that is my tier ranker. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I had so much fun filming this, and I really enjoy doing this video. I love tier ranker videos, so if you guys have any other suggestions for any tier ranker videos that you would like to see, let me know down below. If you made it to the end, leave any electronic emoji down below, like a computer, a mouse, a keyboard, anything like that down below, and I will see you on my next one. Bye, everybody.